Hey everyone, I'm Connor and welcome to my channel, The Closet. If it's your first time here on my channel, I like to talk about all things luxury, so if that's something you're into, I'd love it if you could hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you're notified when I bring out new videos. And if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Now today's video, I'm going to be talking about the luxury brands, or I guess certain bags from luxury brands that you're probably better to purchase on the resale market if you're, I guess, wanting to try out the bag, you're not 100% sure whether it works for you, or you're just somebody who wants to get a good deal on said bag. And this video was, the idea for this video came from my good friend Dale over at the YouTube channel Dale's Addiction, who recently did a video talking about all of the bags she's bought pre-loved and what she kind of paid for stuff and everything like that. And she said I should do a video coming from the perspective of a luxury reseller on the best bags to buy pre-loved because of the price that you can get them for. So this is the video, and thank you so much Dale for the inspiration. And yeah, let's get right into it. Now the first bag on the list would be the Louis Vuitton Capucines. Now if you're unfamiliar with the Capucines, this is a bag that Louis Vuitton market as their premium, top of the wazza, bloody Birkin equivalent bag, and they put a lot of emphasis into the story of the bag, where it came from, what it was named after, yada yada yada. But that old price tag for the RRP for the mini in the Australian dollars, the AUD, is like over $9,000, and then the BB size is like $11,000, so they aren't cheap. And if you do love that bag and you're wanting to buy it retail, go for gold. You have my blessing. You can pass go, you can collect your $200, but if you're somebody that isn't quite sure whether that bag would work for you or not, definitely look pre-loved, because you can get them a lot of the time over half price, especially for the BB size. The mini size, depending on the kind of like combination and the color scheme, generally they're around like the $6,000 mark if it's like black with gold hardware or whatnot. But generally you're saving some do-re-mi if you're buying a pre-loved. Now, why do they not hold their value? My theory is that Louis Vuitton buyers for pre-loved generally want a bag that screams Louis Vuitton. They want some sort of canvas piece with monogram, or some sort of bag that is a lot more synonymous with Louis Vuitton than the Capucines. You could argue that the Capucines does have the LV on the front, but it's very understated in comparison to a lot of the products that Louis Vuitton do have. If you looked at it on a percentage ratio, I guess, of what the Capucines costs versus what it would sell pre-loved, and then you compared it to something like a Neverfull in the same condition, you would see that the Neverfulls or the Speedies or the more canvas pieces, the percentage for pre-loved would be a lot higher than would be for the Capucines. Obviously, I'm talking per capita because they're different price ranges, but you're more likely to get more money pre-loved for a canvas, a classic Louis Vuitton piece than you would a Capucines. I personally think the Capucines are very underrated. I know, I shouldn't say underrated, like they're not underrated, but I think for Louis Vuitton, like if you're a Louis Vuitton shopper, they're a really good bag and they're kind of that next level of luxury, and they bring out so many different variations. They've got furs, they've got exotics, they've got the artsy range, lots of different renditions. And I do think it is a more premium bag that they do offer. But pre-loved wise, get hunting. If you want one pre-loved, go for gold, because there's definitely a lot of savings to be made. Next, this one is a bit more broad, but it would be Chanel seasonal bags with a few caveats, okay? Generally, Chanel seasonal bags do not fetch a lot on the pre-loved market unless, this is the caveat, unless they are from some hyped up, big old, influenced little collection, like the Heart bag, for example, where it was down your throat, everyone wanted it, every man and his dog wanted to have a little Heart bag hanging off their shoulder. Now, that's, those certain, you know, exceptions to the rules do come up occasionally, but generally speaking, Chanel seasonal bags don't hold a lot of their value, and it comes down to the same principle like with Louis Vuitton. People are willing to invest X amount of dollars into classic bags because there is this general rule of thumb that classic bags do retain their value because they're classic, people are always going to want them, and I guess that's kind of what that mindset that people have. So generally classic versions of a mini or a jumbo or whatnot, the seasonal version, sorry, they don't hold their value. But if you're somebody who thrives off the seasonal bags, the pre-loved market is for you because they are around. There's so much variety, especially with Chanel bags out there for seasonal pieces. So get hunting. Look at all of the pre-loved places. Look on your local Facebook groups, because if you're wanting a Chanel bag that isn't run-of-the-mill black caviar with gold hardware or what's it called? Beige Claire or whatever, and you want something a bit more fun, well, as fun as Chanel can get, look on the pre-loved market. Next on the list would be bags from Fendi, especially the Baguette, the Peekaboo, and the Fendi First. These bags do not retain their value, which is ironic because the quality of Fendi, I think, is a lot more superior than the quality of Chanel, especially in more recent years. And the fact that they're not as synonymous with quality and it's reflected in the pre-loved price is very disappointing. But we do not make the rules and we do not dictate what things sell for. It's just how the world works. But if you're looking to purchase or invest, I guess, into a Fendi bag such as the Peekaboo, they do retail for a hefty price, which on the flip side of that, I think that's the prices that Fendi do have are quite affordable, especially for exotic pieces. They're probably one of the cheapest luxury brands for exotic pieces. But if you're looking to, not sure if you're wanting to pay the RRP, dip your toes in the water, definitely Fendi Baguettes, Fendi Firsts, and the Peekaboos are something that you're looking probably at least 20 to 30% off the recommended retail price, if not more, depending on the style of the bag. As with all things, I guess, the more classic bags, your blacks, your beiges, your little off-whites, they generally maintain a bit more value than something more seasonal, but overall Fendi bags just don't hold their value, which is very disappointing, and you should all be ashamed of yourselves. And the last bag on the list would have to be the Loewe puzzle bag, which is one of my favorite bags. I've got the small size in the old style now, I guess, because Loewe have very annoyingly discontinued the classic puzzle like silhouette and they've made the new edge version. But I've got the small size in the grained calf skin in the soft caramels, the color. The puzzle bag, for some reason, I mean, they're expensive. I think the small now is about $5,000. You'd be lucky to get half of that back, unless it's in like the classic tan color, I guess my color. They do hold a bit more value, but they just don't hold their value. The mini sizes don't hold their value either. You just lose a lot of money. I don't know why. I think people, I guess, perceive Loewe as a very new brand, even though it's got like a really old history, but I guess influential wise they see it as a newer brand, and it just doesn't have that equity that a lot of other luxury fashion brands have, where people would see the value in it. Again, the quality I think is a lot more better than Chanel or even Louis Vuitton, and it is what it is, but those puzzle bags, you're not getting a lot of money back for them. Now, I don't know what will happen with the classic puzzle style like I've got, whether the more not so popular color ranges would get a little bit more money now on the pre-loved market because they're discontinued in that size. Who knows? The market takes time to adjust, but we'll see. But if you're wanting to try out Loewe, a puzzle bag even, I would look on the pre-loved market because there are some deals to be had, okay? Some D-E-A-L-S. Is that how you spell it? D-E-A-L-S. Yeah, deals. Don't worry, I'm still with you. Just had a bit of you know, I'm losing my marbles, okay? One other little thing I wanted to kind of point out with the pre-loved market as well is that things eventually cap out. So an example would be a Chanel watch for when they were about 4,300 Australian dollars, the retail price. You could go and get a black caviar Chanel watch with gold hardware, and you could then sell it for even more than the retail price, just because they were hard to get in the boutique. You had to have some sort of status there to even get a bag like that, and you could sell them for the retail price or a bit more. But now that those bags are in the $6,000 mark, you can't sell them for what you used to be able to sell them. People cap out. People look at a watch and they're like, it's no longer worth that much. I'm going to go to the next equivalent bag. They go to the Mini because you can get a Preloved Mini for $6,000, $7,000. Why would they pay that for a wok? So the market definitely smooths out and people get to the point where they're not willing to pay anything. And they're not willing to buy something just because it is a Chanel wok or whatnot, and they just tap out and they go to the next thing. So the markets do change. People have expectations and limits, and eventually they give up. So just something to keep in mind. But thanks so much for watching this video. I'd love it if you could give it the thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all very shortly in my next video.